Welcome to my channel, Gypsy Equestrian. My name is Marina Janelle, and today I'm actually doing a recap on 2018, that's right, 2018, and also my 2019 New Year's resolutions. So starting with 2018, actually let's go a little bit further back. So in December of 2017, December 2nd, me and my husband moved to San Juan Island, which is where we live now. I'm from California and he's from Chicago, but we got married in California, and then about 6 months later, we moved to San Juan Island. So that is where we are currently living. That's December 2017, and it's just a beautiful place. I absolutely love it. Came and visited, and we were just sold, at least I was, and eventually my husband Zach got on board. So I moved to San Juan Island, and my husband and I had this moment where we talked about, I just kept saying, what if I die? What if I die and I never got to live out my dream? And so I think he was partly irritated / overhearing me talk about horses, and just said, you know what, why don't you save up 2 months worth of rent for a horse, and also the amount that it would cost to buy one. So I did some numbers and I figured, okay, if I had $2,000, I would be able to buy a horse. That's enough for 2 months rent, and I'd buy a cheap horse at about $1,500. So I did that, and I started my search. So this is January of last year, so about a year ago. So we live on an island, so I had to take a ferry to go and meet this first horse, Cisco. So his name was Cisco. He was a gelding. I don't think that I knew what breed he was, but he was a gelding, which I checked off the list, and I loved everything about him on paper. Then I went to visit him, and he was a doll, and he was so sweet, and I rode him bareback, and after I got done, I was just in love with this horse. And after I got done, the owner said, yeah, he just has he's a little pigeon-toed, and he has minor issues in his back, so he needs chiropractic care every week, and then he also needs to see a equine massage therapist. And I was like, oh, whoa, okay, that's a lot. So I was like, okay, great, whatever. You know, I didn't know the cost of those things. So came home, talked to my husband about it, and he's like, I don't know if that sounds like a good idea. And so this is in, I think, end of January. So decided not to get that horse. And that was really hard for me, because I felt like I'd been looking, which I know you might laugh and say, really, you were only looking for a month. But you have to also realize I have about 26 years worth of longing and wanting and yearning and just desire of having a horse. And so I'm right here. I have $2,000. I've saved up. I've worked, extra job. This isn't including the job that I was working. This is just extra jobs on the side. And so I had all this angst, I need this. And then we decided that this wasn't the right fit. So I really felt like, I wrote in my journal, I feel like I'm never gonna get a horse. And I've never been this close, but it still feels so far. And that brings back emotion, because I felt like I just felt so close, but I felt so far, and I just felt like if I'm this close and I feel like I'm not gonna get it, then it's never gonna happen. So I kept looking, I saw multiple horses, I got advice, get a young horse, I got advice, get an old horse, lease a horse, don't buy a horse, don't buy a horse. All these different people telling me what I should do, and it really was really overwhelming. I think I like to ask advice, what do you think? What should I do? But it was really overwhelming, because everybody disagrees, and I respect all of them. So it was really hard for me to decide which even avenue to go, because I didn't even know what I wanted. I just knew I wanted one of my own. So then I had actually someone that I worked with at school, her name's Tessa DeGarve, and she said, hey, there's this little mare. She's an Arabian, but she is living at the stable that I work, that she was teaching at. And I was like, oh, Arabian, not like red flag, no, not for a beginner. Because I'd ridden Arabians and I'd heard about them and just horror stories and all this stuff, and I was like, not gonna do it. But she's like, no, she's really sweet. And I was like, no, not gonna even look at her. And then she actually, about 2 months later, got moved to the barn that I was riding at here on the island. And I got out of my car and I was like, who's that? She's really cute. And one of the gals was like, oh, that's Cammie. And it's like, oh. And then she came up to me and was being all cute and sweet. I was like, oh my gosh. gosh, she's adorable. She's not what I thought. So I rode her for a month, and then, or might have even been 2 weeks, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just take her. I want her. And she's like, okay, are you sure you don't want to go out on trail with her first? And I was like, no, she's amazing. Like, I'm good. So then I took her, I got her papers, everything, and got all of her tack, and she's mine. And then I tried to take her out on trail, and it was a nightmare. She was pawing the ground, sidestepping really, really quick, running backwards. We're not running, but fast trotting backwards, and it was just really hectic. So it took us a while. I got a trainer named Jessica, and I started working with her, and she told me that, hey, of course, most of this stuff's my problem. So I had to fix that, and was just able to slowly get into it. But she was really herd bound, and she, you know, just there's a lot of things that I had to overcome and that we had to overcome together. I changed her name. Her name is Kamikaze. They called her Cami. I call her Kazi. So it took from April until July to get her to a point where I could ride her off trail. So it was quite a bit of work, and looking back, I'm like, oh, April, May, June, July, that's only 4 months. It felt like years for me, because I would go and I'm taking care of this horse that I can't ride. She's great in the arena, like child's horse, super easy, then loses her brain the second we get out of the gate. So it was really hard, especially for a new rider. But we're here, and you know, it's July and everything's going great. And one of my friends that I met here on the island named Alex, she helped me a lot, and we went out riding, trail riding so many times during the summer, and it was a blast. So that is my story with Kamikaze. We've been together for about 10 months almost, and it is just bliss. I love her, and I hope she loves me the same way, but it's been really, really good. And so that is my story with Kamikaze, and just kind of my horse journey in general. But now I want to talk about 2019, because last year my goals were to get a horse, to take some lessons, and check, I've done all those things. Okay, so my first goal that I wrote down is to ride 1,000 miles. So living here on the island, I'm so blessed because I keep Kamikaze at a pasture, and we have access. There's a gate right to like miles and miles and miles of trails, and it's just really, really nice. I'm so blessed to be able to have. I'm blessed and I'm spoiled, because I feel like I could never go somewhere without such beautiful trails anymore. So I'm becoming a little brat. But my goal is to ride 1,000 miles with her, and to track those and keep them logged. So I'm gonna track them on my Fitbit. I got a Fitbit a few months ago, and if you're looking into getting a Fitbit, don't get this kind, because it sucks. But it works well with my GPS. So it's basically my horse GPS Fitbit tracker, and that's basically what I use it for. So to keep myself accountable, I'm gonna have a toolbar in all of my videos, so I can tell you, this is where I'm at, or I rode this many miles last week and I'm this far to my goal. So that'll be kind of fun. My goal number 2 is to learn how to mount Kamikaze bareback. So if you see the video that I posted last Tuesday, is my first attempt at mounting bareback. And I actually got it. I had to have her next to a hill, and I got it, but it wasn't with ease, I'll say. Okay, and you can see if you go watch that video, I'll link it.
It's not easy.
It definitely was not easy. So I would like to be able to just be like, hop on her, and it's easy. And it looks easy, and it feels easy, and I'm not hitting her in her hip bone or hitting my knee or anything. So that is another one of my goals. So not just to mount her bareback, but to mount her with ease bareback. So that is goal number 2. Goal number 3 is to teach Kamikaze 2 tricks. So I'm thinking about getting maybe a clicker or doing something like that. I haven't decided which tricks I want to teach her. You know, it sounds like, oh, 2 tricks, like that's no big deal. But for a new person who's into horses and learning the psychology behind it and how to communicate with them in a gentle way, it feels like it's pretty stretching. So I've already been Googling tricks to teach her, and I haven't decided on what those are, but that is my goal. So 2 new tricks. Resolution number 4 is probably the most important for me. So Kamikaze came with a saddle, and right now we're riding an English saddle and a Western Boselle, I guess. But her saddle does not fit her correctly. So I know this is gonna sound funny, but I don't really care if it's Western or an English saddle, whatever I can find that is affordable. I don't have $1 million to spend on a brand new saddle, so I'm going to be getting her measurements done and hopefully finding one that's been used that fits both of us. And I haven't really decided if I want Western or English. I would honestly ride her bareback if it was comfortable for me and if it was comfortable for her, and it's not, so we have to have a saddle. The fifth and most costly New Year's resolution is to take 30 riding lessons. So it's pretty muddy here on the island until about May, so I'm planning on starting my lessons and finishing them through the summer. So it's going to be, I'm probably going to be taking 3 to 4 lessons, and I also would like to take 3 to 4 lessons a week. And I would also like to take a few groundwork lessons with one of the trainers on the island that I really, really respect, who trains horses, and she's just really, really amazing to watch. And so I'd like to take, or kind of study under her, but take lessons from her on how to do groundwork and just to get inside my horse's mind and see what she's thinking and feeling and how to read those better. So that's my goal for this summer, is to take 30 riding lessons. My sixth and final resolution is to read a horse book every single month. So when I say a horse-related book, I don't mean Pony Pals or Black Beauty. I've already read all those books. I'm talking about more of the fundamentals with horses, or horse sense, or those kind of things that will help me understand them better. If you have any recommendations, if you can just put them in the comments below or private message me. Those are my New Year's resolutions for 2019. I'm super excited to see who I become after those are completed and the journey that it takes to get there. Right now I'm super, super excited about them, and so I just can't wait to get into it and get them going, but I'm sure there will be times where I'm like, why did I say 1,000 miles? All right, I'll talk to you later. See you next Tuesday.
What?